Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. Woo!
Woo!
Welcome to ToV Podcast, episode 43. We're winding down the year 2023. Lots of things to look forward to for next year. What a year it's been, and I'm sure we'll do a lot more reflecting on the last podcast live stream, which will be on December 17th, when we are going to do memes till midnight, coined by Sir Josiah, Roguescaper himself. So that will be fun. But hello, everybody. Hello. I am Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, but you can call me Tails. And I have with me on the panel tonight Sir Jason, Rocker Robotics. We have Sir Jeremy, the Elysium, and we have Josiah, who is the rogue idealist and master painter of wonderful painting things. This trophy right here is just awesome. Okay, anyway. How are we doing tonight, everybody? Doing good? Kicking in the holiday spirit stuff. I feel good. I'm doing pretty good with that. Yeah.
Making progress.
Yeah. It's from where we started this last year to where it was just like, okay, we're gonna just do stuff no matter what. And then, coming to the end of this year, do you think we'd be in this position? The chances, it was already happening in the background, but still, it's just one of those things to where it's just like, you don't know, and sometimes you gotta prepare for rain. So, and what are we talking about? Let's get into it a little bit, okay? All right, let's talk about Renegade. So this happened a few days after our last live recorded podcast, which is why it's taken us so long to talk about it.
Pre-Thanksgiving too.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it was pre-Thanksgiving.
They dropped the bomb on us right before the holiday.
I did go live and talk about the announcement for like a few minutes, and got some views and comments from people on that, and I actually have screenshots of those comments, so we can look at those at near the end of the stream. But let's get into headlines and just talk about the Renegade announcement for March 1st, 2024. How about we get to that? Yeah, okay, and it's pretty short, but it tells a lot. Okay, it says RenegadeCon Virtual 10th Anniversary Edition, March 1st, and that is 2024. Who's ready for more reveals? Get the scoop on everything coming next at Renegade. The upcoming March 1st RenegadeCon 10th Anniversary Edition will feature 4 exciting streams with a total of over 30 new and upcoming release reveals. Join us on YouTube March 1st to be ready for the show. P.S. to our Heroscape fans, gotta point it out there, check the fine print below. Winky smiley face. Team Renegade. And it says below, all details for the first wave of 2024 pre-painted Heroscape Age of Annihilation game releases and Heroscape terrain system boxes will be revealed during the con, and pre-orders will open at that time. There's a lot to break down here. Let's start first with just the date announcement itself. So March 1st, 2024, that's going to be on a Friday. I believe it's going to be like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, Eastern, I believe. Well, we're definitely going to be streaming on that day. We'll be there. So
I
that is
spoke to my friendly local gaming store, and they said I could stream from the game store on that day. So we might have a few outside guests. It depends on who gets involved with Heroscape at that point. But most likely it'd be me and the store owner, and then just be like, "Yo, hey, we're here from this store." So
that is fun.
So Renegade should totally send some stuff over.
Should totally
to help celebrate, Yeah. But yeah, no, I was really excited about that.
Well, I'm glad it's not so late in the year. It's still kind of early. March 1st, that's technically February, really. So it's
they did say first quarter. We got to give them credit. How do I say it? They do keep their stuff secret because it was really important. And now I'm probably gonna say this a lot, just to highlight it. But they mentioned several times that Renegade's MO is to keep all information off table. They don't do hints. They don't do none of those like sneaky stuff. Like, so what we got used to from Avalon Hill, right, was basically a hint every day. That was
We got
exceptional.
boom,
That was an exceptional level of
payload.
information. I mean, effort. Like the effort behind that too is a lot. We probably should not expect that from every company, mainly because that was a Chris Nadeau thing. That wasn't a
Right.
business thing. That wasn't like a that was the thing that he wanted to do for the Heroscapers to hype them up for what was happening.
Right.
Renegade's MO, as far as I understand it, is they keep everything under wraps. Like, I mean, it basically it feels as if they have absolutely nothing at all. But that is not the case. They have a ton of stuff, and then they just wait for the right time to drop it, which just happened to be before Thanksgiving. And I think it's really important to note that, because I think a lot of people come in the chat and they're really worried. They're like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, we're going to get everything next year. That is what they're saying. They wanted to let us know what to expect, and it seems like not a lot. But I think, yeah, it's just remembering how they work. Because I think it was Mega Silver, community member Mega Silver was talking about it. Was familiar with their MO since 2018. This is how they've been with the Power Ranger stuff. This is how they've been with the G.I. Joe stuff. They tell you nothing until day of launch. So it may make you more anxious, unfortunately. But as far as I understand it, that does not mean they don't have anything. Right. They just want to. They control the release.
They
of
have
that
things.
information. So
they have things.
It's just they keep. They're purposely doing the like, just you wait. Or what was it?
The carrot out here.
That someone made a meme about that today. A Christmas Story kicking him down the slide. That's us. We're getting kicked down the slide right now by Santa Claus. But
ho ho,
we got stuff on the way.
Ho.
Yeah. That's what's happening.
I guarantee you, we will not shoot our eyes out, though. I guarantee you.
But yeah, no, it's. I'm excited. Yeah.
Kids, this is one thing you could ask your parents for, and yeah, you'll definitely not shoot your eye out. So.
I would the Age of Annihilation master set with expansion sets into Call of Jungle add-ons.
Yeah.
What kind of plastic are they going to be using? Some of the Games Workshop stuff, you can stab your eye out if you're not careful.
Oh, the screws?
Okay, well, there you
those
go.
Are,
You'll stab your eye out.
I'm not talking about the screws. I'm talking about the actual weapon tips, man. These things get sharp.
Oh, well, man. Okay. Now there's a meme that needs to come out sometime. You'll stab your eye out with,
Heroscape Age of Annihilation. You'll stab your eye out.
Start using those little rubber band guns, and it just gets downhill from there. But anyway, sorry.
That's funny.
The inside track.
But yeah, that is. I think it's important to note that out of all of this, they did say first quarter. March 1st is first quarter, and we're seeing them follow up with the commentary that they've made in the past, and I think that's pretty good for them as far as the current heritors of the Heroscape product. They seem to know exactly what they're doing. So got a little trust point from me. I thought that was really cool to not only mention it March 1st, and then all the stuff that we will be talking about in a little bit. All the stuff we got from this, so it was pretty good. It was a pretty good announcement for me, at least. I think.
Yeah, I think it helped settle the community. Definitely, we're getting a little restless in the server. We just need a little something to chew on through the holidays, to tie us over. I think this caught a lot of people by surprise. I was, I was definitely one of the people like, it's impossible, pre-painted, never gonna happen this day.
Right, the price. Yep.
Right.
The price point. Yeah.
So that was good stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, let's speculate on that a second here. Okay, so here's some points. All details for the first wave of 2024 pre-painted Heroscape Age of Annihilation game releases. Okay, let's just start with that. Okay, because first of all, first wave. So we're gonna be looking. So what are we thinking about wave? Are we thinking maybe in terms of how they used to release Heroscape in those little wave packs, to where it maybe contained like 5 to 6 miniatures? We have no idea what they're gonna do. If they're gonna do classic, or if they're gonna do something smaller or bigger. I mean, what do you guys think?
I know they want to work with what we understand the brand to be, So like they've looked at how distribution was handled in the past. They mentioned that they've done the research on like how it used to come in with all the packs and stuff like that. And so I want to think they will create something that's similar to what we're familiar with, but still taking into account current price ranges. Because you can't, what we were used to was those common squads and stuff like that, where we would buy like 5 of them, because that was how you prepped the armies, things like that. We're looking at, with them mentioning Age of Annihilation, we're already aware that everything that's coming in that pack is unique. So it's going to be an interesting distribution process, but I imagine it'd be like, I don't know, like a pirate captain and a pirate crew.
Did they already say uniques? There's going to be in that first pack or first wave?
Well, no, that's the thing. It's like all the Age of Annihilation stuff we know is unique, unless they decide to change it.
Right.
Yeah, unless they decide to change it, which they kind of still can. I don't know, but yeah, that's the thing. It's up in the air because like we won't have that information until March 1st. Right. But from what we know is that based on what we understand from Age of Annihilation in the past, everything's going to be unique. So it's going to probably be patterned different than what we're used to account for. Most people are going to probably buy one, right? Because it is a unique set. And if they're buying multiples, it's to promote or to give friends. There really is no reason to buy more than one.
Or do giveaways.
I would say at max, or giveaways, yeah, things like that. Like if you're doing unique, if you're doing a unique only distribution model for the first couple waves before their new stuff comes out, that is to be expected that players I would say on average would probably buy 2, one to put on the wall and one to play kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then that's about it. That's all you would really need to, unless you then were committing to give to others. So they're definitely going to pack it differently than what we're used to, or at least that's my theory, is that they're going to pack it differently than what we're used to. So it won't be like, I
imagine it's probably going to be the case. Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to hopefully, and if they're listening right now, try to respect the source material as much as possible, please. That's one thing Avalon Hill did right. They did respect the source material, at least up to a point, at least when it came to the lore. If it's new packaging, if the card, I hope the cards are still original, like how they were, because I know a lot of people hate it, but I personally love the card because that just makes it Heroscape. That makes it its uniqueness. Having cards that fill up the whole table and you don't have room for the map, but that's okay. That's fine. That's what we deal with.
The practicality is overruled by aesthetic for sure.
Right.
Yeah. But no, hopefully they have a good balance, and we will definitely find out March 1st.
Yeah, that's the current job that they're doing. Everything that we don't know that they're doing behind the scenes is currently working on distribution, trying to figure out what to make it, like what to put in what kind of thing. Because I think that would be Lee's expertise, if I understand the system that they got going. Lee's doing producing, Rowan's doing the design, so she's in charge of all the rules, the point systems, all that stuff. So she would be the one that would change if they decided to make them common. That would be Rowan's department.
Hello, you all from Renegade. We're here. I'm an email away, so
So I do have some
go ahead.
some thoughts on distribute what they're going to do based off of it. So I think they mentioned that they're going to have like a basic entry level mode for players, and they're going to have some kind of master set available. I think they're going to take what we saw in AOA and divide those up into 2 different boxes, and then they're going to have just booster pack boxes kind of themed I'm trying to decide if they're going to include terrain, kind of like a complete, you buy this box number 1 that has enough terrain for a mini map and 2 armies to play. That's kind of how they keep on doing it. Or they can just sell it individually. You just can buy 1 Zed Nesbit. A little package.
or maybe a variety of, it depends.
It'd be interesting if they did like a build your own scape, and then you just like, you order to ship or something like that. You're like, hey, I need these many or something. I know that's probably logistically. I know, like it sounds awful to think about. I'm like, man, that'd be cool. Hey, I want this much Heroscape, and then they send you these many pieces.
Before we got Like before we got the news of the pre-painted miniatures, which kind of throws a monkey wrench into this.
It does.
But
yeah.
the 70, what was it, 71-ish miniatures for Age of Annihilation? I mean, that's approximately an old school master set. Plus maybe, your 4 wave boxes. Plus you have the 1 large monster box. And maybe each terrain set would then have a squad in it. That gets you pretty close to 71 miniatures.
Right.
But when you factor in pre-painted miniatures, if say like those monster sets is pre-painted, that's going to be a very, very expensive set. So I don't know if they're still going to go with the original structure. I kind of like your idea of the kind of the related booster boxes where you maybe have like the Vorid as like an entire faction box or something. If you want just those guys, or maybe broken down by general. So you have the Jandar pack or the Revna pack or whatever.
Oh. The general pack would be awesome.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I think the only thing about doing the general pack though is Heroscape's never really been super faction oriented. You tend to mix and match factions.
Yeah. You mix.
Right.
They encourage it too to mix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whereas like some games you play faction only, you don't do that at Heroscape. So maybe the general specific boxes wouldn't be a great fit for Heroscape, but it's an option. Games do that.
Personally, I always love the random spattering of people. You could have Deathwalker 7000 and Johnny Shotgun in the same, booster pack. It's just that kind of shows the wide variety of it. I think I can see faction packs working. Like, it makes the most sense. Why have factions if you're not going to do something with them?
Yeah.
But also, I would like to just have a box of, a samurai, a robot, and some guy riding a dinosaur, just for variety.
AOJ. Yeah.
Or a mammoth. We're good for mammoths. Or even
really any prehistoric.
Or even
beast.
even a penguin with a rocket launcher too. That's always a.
We're not.
But not before
possibly.
the penguin machine guns. They have to have machine guns first.
Penguins with machine guns.
For Craig's sake.
There you go. Yes. As long as those are down the line somewhere, it's just
Right.
Yeah. Even a hint would be even if it was like
71.
Even if it was something that didn't make 2 years from now, it's like just like say, hey, this is coming,
Right.
I'm just saying.
There is one little hint there. It's first wave, so suggesting that we're not going to see all of Age of Annihilation.
No, they said
Just
2 waves.
Yeah,
they're planning 2 waves next year.
Yep.
So maybe 30 to 35-ish miniatures, depending on which ones they choose.
Right.
And it does say game releases, so there's multiple. There's obviously going to be more than one package or one product in whatever that wave is. And when we get to the terrain system boxes, there is also plural.
Heroscape terrain system boxes.
There's going to be some sort of multiple sets of terrain boxes.
What I found interesting, though... Oh, go ahead, Jason. Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, I guess the question that Renegade hasn't answered, we don't know what their strategy is this first wave going to be for bringing new players into the game, or are they going to be targeting the existing market?
They actually,
you know that?
Scott mentioned their major plan right now is to get as many new players to the game as possible, like as quickly as possible, because they want to try. Let's see, where is it? I know I was like digging through their chat earlier. He was answering a lot of questions, and he mentioned they want to get as many people into the game as possible.
And I have some of what he stated in a screenshot, so we'll get to that in a minute, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my thought would be that if they're trying to target more new players, you're gonna probably see something that is a good game experience in one box. Or at the very least, it's going to be a good one-player game experience. So if you want to buy this faction and then your friend wants to buy this faction, game companies have done both ways, where it's a 2-player starter sets, 1-player starter sets. It doesn't really matter,
But
some people like the 2-player, some people like the 1-player, whatever. Either one's not a valid option.
I have a thought though too when it comes to these wave packs as well. If they want people who don't know the game wanting to get into the game right away, then you need some type of rule book too.
Yes.
Yeah. So that kind of tells me that it probably won't be the wave packs that we're used to. If they're gonna, or maybe they might have a rule book included as an option, but they don't say that. So who knows?
Yeah,
we don't know.
The way they say boxes definitely has my attention. It's not sets, it's not releases. It's a box. It's a box is a very specific term of how big the box is, but it's a square thing.
This box. Yeah.
But when do we get to make our bold predictions? We have a whole discussion first, and then we make our bold predictions, or
you can predict it whenever you want. I think it's fine. Right now we're just speculating.
Here's what I think. This is what I think they'll do. There's going to be 2 products in the first wave. The first is going to be a more traditional master set, about 25 miniatures, and that's going to be new player focused. The pre-painted set is going to be the reimagined heroes from Swarm of the Morrow, and they're going to be pre-painted. And because, you know, do the math there, that's going to be more expensive because you got the 2 big things. You got Raylan's now riding her monster, and then Sonlin's got his giant dragon thing. I think that's going to be a $70 to $80 set for those guys, and they're going to be pre-painted. That's my prediction.
Do you think the set includes terrain or just the miniatures?
I think it'll just be the miniatures. Yeah. That's going to be, that way you have a product that appeals to all old players, because, you know, each of those heroes now are broken up among the original 5 factions, because now that Raylan's gone evil, assuming that stays the same.
Right.
Oh,
you know,
please release
everybody
evil
in that
Raylan
box
first
set
wave,
with a whole bunch of nostalgia factor, and then you have a new set that may focus more on the new generals, or just it could be old generals with the new miniatures, and then that is what the new players go for.
Nice. Yeah.
Although, I mean, they did mention that they're releasing Age of Annihilation. Like, they haven't said anything about miniatures like in the past or recreations. So my guess.
Well, that's all Age of Annihilation. Yeah. I'm talking the things that were stretch goals. Obviously,
the stretch goals. The new Raylan, Sonlin, the new Sonlin.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
They said that so as far as we know, all 71 miniatures will come out at some point. That's what we got, including the stretch goals, including the exclusives.
My mind's just being blown because I can't wait to read the stat cards on those things. You know, it's like we'll have complete podcasts just devoted just to each single miniature and their stat cards, probably.
It's about to get crazy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not to say that, because you know, the content chain when it comes to Heroscape, right? Here, a lot of what we're able to do right now is express our joy from the game in its past and being able to like play it in its past renditions and things like that, and that's awesome, right? But it's hard to appeal to newer players who were never there, right?
So
next year when Heroscape drops, we're going to have fresh stuff to be like, hey, you can do this with me right now. You don't have to spend $200 to get you a dwarf army. You want to play the pirates? I'm playing them right now. You want to play pirates? Go buy it. Here's the link. You know, that's going to be like such a huge difference in terms of the Heroscape content department. Like what videos can come out, what people might get on board, you know, the different channels that'll get started on it or join in on it. Like because we'll have something tangible to give out to players and not be like, hey, look at this great game that I hope you have money for. You know, like, because that was the worst part for me introducing Heroscape to other players was like, oh yeah, if you want to play this, you're gonna have to spend a little bit. Sorry, you know,
250.
Yeah, it just and yes, that reflects the current market because it's no longer in production. But that's the stuff the fans understand. Doesn't really work with new players. I mean, it's really hard to do.
Probably going to be spending about 250 come March. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially the fans because we're gonna stock up this time. I ain't gonna mess up this time. I'm getting everything.
It's a good reason.
Because if it discontinues the second time, I'm gonna be prepared. It'll be like bunkered. I'll bunker it up. All the I'm ready.
We're gonna be so stressed out because like this could be discontinued tomorrow.
This could be discontinued again.
Bye.
We do all have PTSD. Yeah, the people will have like dozens of boxes in their basement and just
right.
It's like the apocalypse happens. What do you have stored in your what in your bunker?
We will idle the time of the apocalypse
just
away.
Walls of Heroscape. It's like, yeah,
I built my house out of the boxes of Zen Nesbit.
Oh dear.
What if you did build your house out of hexes? Like that is you constructed a hex like habitat to survive the apocalypse.
Well, I think Renegade's gonna thank you for sending all their kids to college. So
Yes.
sure.
That's probably more expensive than an actual house. At that point.
For sure.
And it's nozzle insulated, and it doesn't look nice.
And
right.
Ryan,
But the
your
option's
stream
there.
Insulation
ended on
hexes. That's
YouTube.
the next terrain box should be insulation hexes. And don't tell anybody the true reason for it.
Let's move to terrain boxes in a second. Did you have something to say, Josiah?
That's a good segue.
Oh, I was saying your stream ended on YouTube. Just check that.
Did it?
I was going to mention that too.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah,
your
it did
stream's
reset.
not fine.
Let me see what's going on here. All right.
Well,
but
we stopped at terrain boxes, so we can just
yeah,
kind of start
we
there.
can
And
we
just
can yeah we
go
can
from
we can
there.
continue with terrain boxes then. Okay, so for those of you who wonder why there's only like part of a stream, and I'll have to just upload this. What we're now recording and what was live, I was trying for like the past 10 or so minutes to get us back live online, but there seems to be an issue with OBS or Restream or something. There's nothing wrong with my internet's fine, but something is messing up there. So we're just going to continue recording this podcast, and then I will do an edit and post the rest of this hopefully tomorrow. So y'all can like watch the whole thing, and it won't be on the live section. It'll be on the video side of things though. So yeah, how about we continue then? I apologize for it. Like I said, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will, and it did it tonight. So 43rd podcast, and this is what happens. And for those of you listening to the audio sphere, it's not going to affect you guys much at all. I don't know if I want to keep in us struggling. I might edit that out just so we can get to the point. But yes, this is the fun thing about streaming. I'll have to troubleshoot this week then. All right, so how about we then hop into the I don't want to close anything. Okay, so terrain system boxes. Now this is something that is very, very interesting because this is the first time that I've heard the word system to any type of terrain when it comes to Heroscape. It almost seems like they took from what Source did when they call the Source system, or they used to call it the Scape system, or their system of terrains. I don't know if they had that original idea as well as Source at the same time, or if they picked up on it, but I find that interesting. But it seems like they are making now a terrain system for Heroscape. So.
I should probably mention, and I this is probably just a me thing, so feel free to call me out if it is. But no, I don't want to put Adventure Together and Renegade Games against each other.
No,
I've been noticing this like competition thing.
It's
and
okay to
this
be
is just me observing.
But
competitive in terms of like industry, right?
Right.
Innovation, because what was it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the term. But you don't want a monopoly, right? You want multiple companies working on similar products because they help inspire each other to do better.
Exactly.
That's just base level of business. But I have noticed in some comments, and I'm not, this isn't just like a call out or anything. It's just I've noticed some people being like, "Oh, Source looks like they're gonna do better." It's like, let's not do that. Let's not compete, like throw the two against each other.
No,
I don't like that. It gives me the ick, and I want to say I want both of them to succeed gloriously next year, right? I want to get Adventure Together out there and thriving, and I want to see Heroscape and the Heroscape terrain system out there and thriving. If we can get both going at the same time, bruh.
And
because
I
that's
think
the thing. It's like, right? And I can foresee it. I can foresee it because this is stuff people want. This is stuff people can use, right? They can use Source because it has that. There's a distinct aspect of Source that is separate from what Heroscape offers, right? And like Heroscape will always have that notion of 3D terrain that no other set has really accomplished, and then Source is like this innovative idea that not only they're adding terrain tiles that I couldn't even think of, right? That's the kind of thing I see looking forward is if they are kind of like inspiring each other on the sidelines, that's awesome, because then if like something Source comes up with something that then Heroscape's like, oh, let's see what we can do, and then create something similar, and then they just kind of like help each other out. That's awesome, right? But I don't want them fighting. That's my thing. It's like I don't want to turn them against each other, or at least, and even if the companies won't do it, like us, the players, being like, "Oh, I play Source, but it's better than the Heroscape terrain system." I'm like, what?
Well, I mean,
Homies?
that
Like,
can be a person's opinion, you know,
and that's the
that's
thing.
fine.
And opinion-wise, that'd be fine, but it's like, it's just this whole like, oh, I don't want to buy any terrain from Heroscape because Source is coming out. I'm like,
I get both.
bro, Source, you didn't even know what Source was until like literally like a week ago. Like, come on, like, don't be like that. Like, I know you're gonna buy Heroscape terrain system too. Don't even play that game. Like,
I get yeah,
The hexes, they beckon either way.
yeah, right. Regardless, I mean, and let's not forget High Ground. I mean, they're still out there too, right? Like, so we have multiple systems out there that each provide their special contribution to the market, and I want all of this to thrive. But with the terrain system, I also wanted to mention that is specific grammar, so that's not like a fluke, or people did catch on to it really quickly, and then Lee was like, "I'm glad you noticed that." That was the thing they wanted to do, because Heroscape isn't just used for Heroscape. That's one thing that we've talked about. I want to say we've talked about in the past, and I know it's come up in multiple discussions. BattleTech is a really popular game with Heroscape tiles and Dungeons and Dragons. I actually know friends of mine who build entire sets of they buy entire sets of terrain of Heroscapes to build maps for D&D. And we got Pathfinder 2.0 coming out, right? We got Tales of the Valiant coming out. There are multiple game systems coming out within the next year that could benefit from both Heroscape terrain system and the Source tile system. So I want like, what I want to see when it comes to the Heroscape terrain system is, of course, lava, right? We gotta give everybody a chance to get that. And I know in the past the exclusivity of it was part of the market. That was part of the market deal with Toys R Us. It was like, hey, Toys R Us was like, yeah, we'll stock your stuff if you give us something special. And lava just happened to be that special thing, and because of that, nobody has it but a few of us. And so yeah, lava, please, lava set, if that's a thing, right? And even if it's like you're cutting the cost because you're not putting miniatures in it, you're just putting terrain, like a little mini volcano cap or something, some nice little like topping feature that can, because Heroscape tiles has the grooves, and it's always been really cool to like notch something into the grooves that fit really well. You could do something like a little volcano topper, or like a little rock topper or something like that. And some plumes, something like that. But the idea is that they're going to be
lava waterfalls.
Yeah,
lava falls.
Like the trailer, the teaser trailer. If they actually made those, though, I would buy
10 hexes high, they just fall off the side instead of ladders.
That was a cool concept. Everyone's like, "Are those going to be real?" It's like, nah, that was digital. That was digital animation. We were hyping it up. But the terrain system for me is a cool concept because it's giving access to things people didn't get in the past, or the exclusivity of those sets. I want to say terrain. I want to say the snow sets were a little bit easier to get because those were everywhere. And then we know the story with was it the Dragon Lady, and how we were missing. It was less trees and forests out there because there was more arms return for no reason, and you only need to buy one arms return. So, but but yeah, the idea of being able to pack up those like special sets, and let's not forget, in the Meet the Team, they already said they planned out 3. They already have ideas for 3. We don't know what those sets are, but 3 Heroscape terrain system boxes have already been planned out since October. And I think that's going to be a really neat feature to help stabilize the brand as it launches in 2024, because once again, we are trying to market to as many people as possible, and one way to do that is to give people, hey, if you don't want to play the game itself, try out the land first, try out the terrain, and then you get to build that for anything, and then maybe like put a little Heroscape game ad in the boxes, so you're like the pieces, play the game, and then boom, now you're getting the miniatures. So I mean, because I've seen that kind of stuff before, where it's like they give you like a kind of an introductory thing, and then they were like, all right, but try your thing with it, and then it's like, okay, cool, topping for the ice cream, that kind of stuff. So I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the concept. I think it's really innovative and really open to the idea of getting as many new people to the game system as possible for for its future stability.
For sure, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, and when it comes to like people from Adventure Together, they have nothing but goodwill, towards everybody.
No, absolutely.
So that's a great place to start.
I want both of them to succeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get both of them. Play 2 maps.
Yeah, I mean each will have their uses, so yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can see that.
Okay, so what else could we say? I guess the last thing we can mention before we get into finer detail on things is that basically pre-orders will happen on March 1st, so you can start buying stuff right away. So that was pretty good too.
Get those kidneys sold,
Yeah.
If you have any extra cards you're not using, sell those. Get ready.
I want to say the really cool thing that stood out to me in terms of like this announcement was when it was mentioned, hey, this is going to be open for Europe as well, and Scott was like, yeah, it's going to be a global pre-order option. And for those that have been part of the community for a while, if you were in Europe while Heroscape was active, you know just as well as I do, the only thing that was there was Rise of the Valkyrie. Because I lived in Belgium when Heroscape came out, and I got into Heroscape through Rise of the Valkyrie. I didn't know there was anything else for this game until I got back to the United States. And that was about 2 years after the fact. So 2 waves had already been out, the large expansion was already out. I missed all of that first launch, right? I think the first launch I was available, actually was able there. I was there for announcements was Wave 4, maybe. I think so. I have childhood memories of Wave 4 being announced, but that's the thing, right? Renegade has decided to make this decision to be able to open pre-orders globally is a step up from what the access that Heroscape had in the past, and so I'm looking really forward to how that does help also grant stability to the brand, because now it's not just the North America putting orders, it's going to be the whole world gets the pre-order, and that's pretty crazy to think about, that there could be a Heroscaper in Russia right now being ready to lock and load when it orders, and all that coming in all at once is going to be great. Much better than, what was it? Because the crowdfund was available to North America, not Canada, right? I remember there was all these limitations.
It was limited, yeah. It was kind of limited to some places, yeah.
And that messed it up, because you lose out on the revenue that was needed because you locked it to certain markets, and then obviously some of those people were already upset when it was like, okay, now you can pre-order. It's too late. They're not. They've already moved on, or they've spent that money on something else, or the fact that they are opening the doors to the entire world all on day one is going to be a huge difference to reaction, I think, in terms of that launch day. So good on you, Renegade.
All right, and let me get into some of the things that Scott G, who is the founder and owner of Renegade, was saying some stuff on Discord, because people had some thoughts about the pricing and some questions about the paying and other things. So he did address some things, and I know Jason has some things to show as well in a minute about this before we wrap up on this wonderful news. It really is. I mean, ultimately, it's great news. But let me just go to what Scott G had to say here first. He said, okay, a few things to clear up some. And for those of you who aren't on Discord, this might be beneficial for you. But Scott G says, a few things to clear up some misconceptions I've read today. Number one. Our team has a lot of expertise making plastic minis. Matt Hyra was a core designer on the World of Warcraft minis game. Those were nice minis too. Leisha, our director of operations, headed up manufacturing and is one of the most experienced people in the industry when it comes to plastics, with over 20 years experience. I am no slouch either. Number two, pre-painted does not have a cost, let me say that again. Pre-painted does have a cost, but it's not double or 50% more than unpainted. Around 10 to 15% more, and we think provides excellent value and makes the game much more appealing to many more players. Number three, the price points we are working on look very competitive to what other similar games are being sold for, that are unpainted and print painted. Going painted also saves gamers money on paints as well as just being more accessible. Our goal is to grow the player base as large as possible. And then let me get to what. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you guys aren't on your seat, but let me just here. Wait, I know it.
No. That line specifically was what we were mentioning earlier. Was the intention is to get as many new players as possible.
Yeah. Right. And then the next point, Renegade not being able to get games in store. This is pretty silly. We ship hundreds of thousands of games into game stores around the world every year. Don't worry about your local store being able to stock Heroscape. They can easily get it if they want it. Next point, shipping and logistics are back to normal as far as times and backlogs. And then the next point, factories. We only make our products in certified factories. The inspections these have to go through are rigorous. I would bet most places you work couldn't pass them. Leisha and I have personally visited the factories we use. The factory that will be producing Heroscape is a long-standing factory for Hasbro with decades of experience. They actually made some of the Heroscape from the past and have a lot of knowledge about the line themselves.
I missed that part.
And then he finishes by saying, I hope that helps clear some stuff up and keep the discussion going in the right direction. You all are great, and we all really appreciate the enthusiasm you all have. We're making this game because we love it too. In March, we'll be able to reveal all of Wave 1. So that's it. So, and anything you guys want to say from that before we move on to what Jason asked for us on this?
I did ask just to confirm, and they replied back that it's not pre-colored like Source has. Source isn't technically painted. Yeah,
there's a difference between pre-painted and pre-colored, right?
So it's pre-painted, so that means it's actually kind of it's not like a run-through machine, and so it's different, but it's not bad. It's really one's better or worse, but it's definitely something that's like, okay, so there's people producing these, so it might actually look and feel a lot like the original Heroscape then at that point.
Sure. And Source is doing like a different type of technology when it comes to pre-colored, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Go ahead.
That the last comment there about the certified factories is probably also a response to the often tossed around Chinese slave labor comments when it comes to pre-painted miniatures. So
that was a big thing last year.
I'd be curious to know what that certification is, because I wouldn't trust the factory to certify itself. But if Hasbro is actually doing the certification themselves, that's probably pretty good.
Hopefully good.
But if they're not,
I mean, I don't think people are dying to paint paint the miniatures. So
I mean, it's been
history of some of those factories.
I know, but that is
not saying I have specific accusations about Renegade, but there's been some really horrific atrocities in China when it comes to labor and manufacturing.
So.
We could have a podcast
and that was a big
that's
part
a different
of it
subject altogether.
That's a different topic altogether. Yes.
Yeah, the pre-painted discussion, and that was why, like last year, everybody who had overheard about the new Heroscape and they asked, they're like, will it be pre-painted? And then they heard no, and they were like, well, I don't want it then it's not Heroscape, that kind of stuff. I think it's really important that we should just grab what we're seeing right now and see that Renegade has decided to answer that conflict from last year by brokering a contract to get this pre-painted. And that in just overall, personal feelings for each person put to the side, I think that's a huge step in terms of like engaging with the community. Because there was a lot of voices about saying, like, I remember it being such a big thing last year. Oh my gosh, I'm not playing this because it's unpainted, and it's like, or I won't be able to paint my characters, and then it's like, well, you can ask someone to do it for you, and they're like, but I don't want to spend the money, and there was just this ongoing discussion, and I remember just being a big thing for every single. There's like, why aren't they painted? Why aren't they painted? Renegade has found the answer, and they have taken the extra time to help with our concerns and be like, look, we're not just doing, we're not going back to how it was back in the day that had, ethical questions involved. Like, this is a serious, certified business process that we will be getting these miniatures, and yes, it'll increase the price, but it's not going to be as bad as you think. And so with that in mind, right, that's what Jason has prepared, is a list of those prices.
Right.
So,
nice
which
segue.
is really, really good to kind of take a look at. Mm-hmm.
Well, how about we do that, Dan? All right, I first have the WizKids HeroClix, Jason.
Yeah, okay, so we'll start here. I mean, as it was about 20 years ago, even today, the WizKids company is pretty much who dominates the pre-painted miniatures market. Yeah. And there's roughly 2 levels of miniatures. So the first one here we're looking at is HeroClix, which is their very popular superhero game that's actually even a little bit older than Heroscape. It's been produced continuously by the WizKids brand or some related brands during that time. Mm-hmm. The page you're looking at here specifically is the Marvel HeroClix Avengers. I believe it's the 60th anniversary of the Avengers comics or something like that, but it's a recent set. It's released in June of 2023 here. And approximately a booster pack of these miniatures goes about $17 to $18 MSRP for 5 miniatures. You can find old sets online for cheaper than that, but that doesn't really matter. We're talking about the actual MSRP. So you're looking around maybe $3 to $4-ish, depending on the details, for the cost of a given HeroClix miniature. And I do want to point out, you have here on the page, you have the Captain America, I think it's a Black Panther right there, Iron Man and Hulk. Right. Those photos right there are not entirely accurate as to how the miniatures look. They're a little bit fancier than what you get. Is that right? Yeah. If you look on eBay, you can go do an eBay search for these exact miniatures, and they don't look quite as nice as what you see right here. I would describe their paint jobs as fairly flat. So there's not like contrast between like the crevices and the details. There's not a lot of highlights on some of the raised areas you'd get if you painted yourself. They're fairly flat. I mean, it's pre-painted miniatures. It's not like they're bad for pre-painted miniatures. They're just pre-paints are just pre-paints. They're not great paint jobs. But the big issue when you're comparing these guys to, say, Age of Annihilation, what we've seen so far, these miniatures are not really as detailed as what we've seen from the previous Age of Annihilation stuff. So while these seem kind of cheap in the $3 to $4 range per miniature, I don't think these accurately reflect what we're going to be getting from Heroscape when it comes to next year's Age of Annihilation stuff. So why don't you jump over to the second image that I sent you there. Okay. And the second level of stuff pertains to WizKids basically running the RPG market. So you've got Dungeons & Dragons miniatures, you have Pathfinder miniatures. Here, this is Critical Role miniatures. I believe they're a YouTube channel, aren't they? And they produce their own line of miniatures or something.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
they have
either way, they're basically,
and such,
yeah. They're all made by WizKids, no matter which brand it is. They're all approximately the same amount of money, and they're all run-of-the-mill pre-painted miniatures. And approximately, this one's on sale here, but you see its MSRP is $50. It's approximately $7 to $8 for a human-sized miniature, no matter which set you're looking at. Little guys are around $4. Big things get really expensive really fast. So, like, you know, hypothetically speaking, yeah, how much does that guy cost there? He's got to be what, 100, 200?
Yeah, I got him on sale, but MSRP is about $150. So, yeah.
So someone like Zenithrax or I was gonna Zed Nesbit, those could be $50, $60 for those miniatures pre-painted alone. Because you can find some of the smaller dragons for Dungeons and Dragons, and they're in that price range at $50+. You do have the monster giant things that are $300, but those are way bigger than anything available in Heroscape right now. So assuming we're talking about kind of your old school wave boxes where you had 5 to 7 miniatures pre-painted in there, where they used to be like $10 back in the day, I think. Was that about their MSRP in 2003?
$12.99 for
$12.99, okay. Or I think a little more at Toys R Us if we got them there, because those jerks jacked up prices. But there's a reason why they're not around anymore. But I would say today, you know, you're looking probably $40 to $60 for that similar size figure box, depending on the exact size of the miniatures that are in there. Right. And that's based on the approximate current market pre-painted miniatures. And even like these Critical Role ones, as well as Dungeons & Dragons, They have better detail than HeroClix, but they still kind of look flat. So they're still your pretty run-of-the-mill pre-painted stuff, which isn't bad if you like that kind of a thing, but anybody who has any moderate skill in painting can do a lot better job than what you see here. But that's the way it's always been for pre-paints. That's nothing new. That's not like saying insulting these things. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
So that's a quick overview of the market for you.
All right.
Not bad, not bad.
And
so save up
go ahead.
$60 to $100, I think. It would be a nice, like,
it's fair,
comfy range for whatever they plan to announce.
It depends on how much.
It won't be $250.
Costs
That's the plus side, is that we're not going to get an announcement that says, all right, $250. Because I know that hit really hard.
You might purchase $250, but
you can't. Yeah, that's up to you. But yeah, it's not like that's not going to be the entry level price to get involved with whatever they plan next year. I have all confidence they're not going to do that, because that didn't work. They need to, at least, if they're going to introduce this game to as many new players as possible, there has to be a comfy price range that works with the market, but also something that's not demanding of people's wallets. I'm looking at like 60 to 100. Like that feels to be the right amount of what they could market and get more people involved, right? And then, of course, answer the need for whatever cost is required to get that produced.
My prediction is master set will be about $85. Have enough terrain for a small map, and about 25 figs is what I'm thinking.
So a little bit more than Battle for the Underdark, which is great. Like we definitely want more than Battle for the Underdark, but we're probably not going to be able to see anything of Rise of the Valkyries level in this day and age without it being a little bit too more than it should be for entry level prices. So at least that's what I'm thinking. But
all right. Any other thoughts before we move on?
I will say thank you, Renegade, for taking the time to solve that conundrum, because I know that was a thing. And like I said, for those that wanted it to be unpainted, I think it's really cool that we did adopt that like philosophy, because that's the thing. It's like being part of the community and watching C3V and all the C3V releases. Right, their thing was pre-painted. When it got launched, pre-painted. That was what everyone wanted. But now this year, it seems there are a little bit more people that kind of like relented and thought about it and were like, you know what, unpainted sounds like a good idea. That's cool. But I think it was also because there were so many people that wanted it pre-painted. That's why they went and got this solution. So it's a really interesting kind of like give and take. It's like, I think they saw more people wanting it pre-painted than unpainted, and that's why they kept that decision. But if they do decide to do both, it would be even better, because then everyone gets to choose, and that's when you get choices. I think that's the best part, is being able to give many people as many options as they can when it comes to this kind of stuff, because we're trying to get more people, new people in, and people that have played since 2004. So
yeah, I would just say that I was probably the biggest person wanting unpainted. I think
that's awesome. I was cool with it, So,
but even then, just because I didn't get exactly what I wanted pre-painted, you're still able to play with the cool figures, and I'm not going to ruin anyone else's day because I didn't get exactly what I wanted, Right. And there's so many.
You got to do a 30-minute YouTube video on how bad it is that they're not doing.
But no, it's good. I would still encourage people to explore painting. Just it's fun. Sure. And if you're really interested in customs, there's so much more range of.
I still gotta paint Agent Aura for myself, so I gotta get that started on that soon.
But yeah, it's exciting news. It'll bring me back cracking open a box of pre-painted minis, because I haven't seen besides Wiz
a good one,
for years. They kind of died out about 7 years ago. So it'll be crazy.
Absolutely.
And just for one more comparison, I just pulled up from Renegade. They have G.I. Joe role-playing miniatures. It's a box of 12 28 millimeters, which is approximately Heroscape-ish scale. And the MSRP on that was $55 for 12 unpainted plastic miniatures. So that if they're saying a 10 to 15% more cost on top of $55, that's like $65 there at the high point for 12 pre-painted miniatures. Would be really good. That seems a little low to me, but maybe they've got some deal in place to pull that off. So
We'll see.
I mean, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get 20% off discount codes. Insane.
Oh,
Hold on
really?
to that.
Oh.
Yeah. Hold on to that for next year. Get
That's
some
right. I kept
20%.
getting that pop-up.
Yeah, it keeps coming up every time I go.
Every time I went to their website on my
I'll be
phone.
okay.
Sign
I'm
up
okay
for
with that
20%
then.
off. Sign up for 20% off.
20%,
No.
20% off. Okay. That works for me. All right, and I got one more thing to say as well. That's more Tales of Valhalla related to this this upcoming Renegade, and hopefully when we do this stream on March 1st, we don't have the hiccup that we had tonight, because that would not be good. But they were commenting on Facebook, Anise usually posts on it, and so I said I commented, and I have it right here on the screen. I commented as Tales of Valhalla Aftermath Chronicles because I have my Facebook account there. I said March 1st, 2024, we'll be there, and Anise replied, "See you there," and I gave a salute. What I found interesting is that somebody liked my comment saying that we will be there. Guess who it was? It was Scott G.
Heyo.
So somebody is hopefully paying attention to what we're doing. Not right now, not us doing this recording.
I'm just saying, Renegade,
It's
you
just
want
us,
some
but-
easy advertising? Got you.
Yeah,
We will
as long as our streams don't
on
keep on going.
separate channels and a combined channel.
But yeah.
Yeah.
On
Combined
several
force.
social media platforms. Yeah, remember the Voltron, the Valhalla Voltron. It's
The
still a
Valhalla
thing.
Voltron.
And again, my email is around. We're always ready for you to come on. Whether we're pre-recording or live, we're ready to go. So yeah, that's something to say, Jason. We're close.
Oh, no, nothing
Okay. All right, so that is the end of taking a look at what Renegade announced, and nice discussion on that for that. So now let's just do a quick recap, since we don't have the gang from Adventure Together Games with us. Just going to give a quick recap for the ending of their Kickstarter campaign, which was very, very successful. It was very, very successful. Yep. And here, let me just bring it up real quick. So the Kickstarter for Adventure Together Games Source TimeStrike, it ended with 1,103 backers, and they pledged $201,565. So over $200,000 total was raised. I think 25,000, and that was their funding goal, was 25,000. Happened in the first
I threw in those
hour.
numbers. Yep. I threw in those numbers in the calculator, so they made 800% more money than they planned for their Kickstarter, and that's an impress. I mean, I don't know about y'all. If you've ever ran a business in any sort of way, finding out you made 800% more than your target goal, I mean, that's a lot. That's really good. So they're doing very well for themselves, and congratulations to every single one of them. They worked very hard for it. Very impressive system, very, very innovative system that deserves the money that it earned. So,
and I'm sure we'll have them on in the future sometime to talk a little bit about it. I mean, again, this podcast is primarily a Heroscape centered podcast, so it's not going to be, because I know some people might say that, okay, you're turning into a Source fanboy or something, and I'm like, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But no, I do know that, I mean, we still have to keep the ToV podcast primarily centered on Heroscape, and so that is what I plan to do. But, when we have these discussions with people, because we've had it with Hormonium and a few others, if there's something Heroscape like, then we like to talk about it. And Adventure Together is really just one of those things to where it's very inspiring, and other things that I'll talk about in a minute. But the way, I mean, and they have also they had fundraising awards, right? No, that's not how it's put. What's the word when it's fundraising and you hit a certain level?
Stretch goals.
Stretch goals.
Yeah.
Stretch goals. Yes, thank you. Yes. And so there was a lot of stretch goals that got released with the funding as well. Let me see.
So 50K was their first stretch goal, which they reached, and it was the biome sticker pack. So it's all the biomes from the various themes, and you can customize blank hexes with these stickers. So it's an interesting kind of development, because it's like, if you're not able to buy all the terrain sets and stuff like that, but you still want to use some of these terrain things, they're giving you an opportunity to customize what you already have until you're able to acquire those actual tiles, which I think is really cool. Because it's like, oh, hey, I don't have the lava set. Oh, that's fine. Do you have any blank hexes? Sure. Put the lava stickers on the blank hex. It still counts. Like that's a pretty cool, it's a really interesting answer to distribution. If you're struggling to, if you're working on getting your collection built up and stuff like that, that's a neat way to keep playing the game and getting everything out of it while you wait to acquire the funds to get everything. So I like that a lot. 75K was a comprehensive lore book. So every copy of TimeStrike Shadow of Fear will now have a book included that will increase your immersion of the gaming experience while you play TimeStrike. That's exciting. Lore book, anything that those are magical words. If you ever want me to do anything for you, say lore book and I'll do it. Like I mean, obviously within legal limits, but like I love the idea of a lore. I collect so many of those, right? I have so many lore books of different franchises that the concept of it being able to expound the universe through an encyclopedia sort of way has always been really fun for me. So I think it's cool that they unlock that, because now everybody's going to get a TimeStrike lore book. So that's pretty cool. 100K stretch goal was the co-op and solo modes for TimeStrike. So now there are options for rules. It's a rule set where you can play TimeStrike by yourself, which is pretty, like, solo game modes is insane. Like, the idea of it is insane, because it's like, not every time will you have the chance to play a game with another person, but you still want to play the game, right? You now have a chance to play by yourself, and you're like, but how? Well, now they got the rules launched, so you're gonna be able to play TimeStrike by yourself, and they have a co-op. So I think that means it supports cooperative play. So I'm guessing there's rules for teamwork stuff. So like you team up with other players. So it'll be like 2v2, 3v3 kind of stuff, which is really cool that they're gonna have different rules for that. 125K was their next goal. It was a Terraform loot card expansion. Unleash the core source functionality during your TimeStrike play with extra cards tied to map construction and destruction. Okay, so it's an additional set for TimeStrike that lets you get rid of tiles or add tiles to the game. Terraforming. Okay, that's there's a lot of stuff here. Yeah. So yeah, that's all going to be. So right now, what I'm listing right now is every stretch goal that got hit. So all of this will be included in the sets that you have purchased if you back the set. 150K was their 8-bit environment theme. So a lot of people are talking about calling it the Minecraft style. The Minecraft style tiles have been unlocked. That was there. And then 175K was, it's called a grip mats. There's a neoprene mats where you basically just put a mat down and the pieces don't move anywhere, which is actually really cool. I like that idea. I didn't know they had something like that, actually, but
they're
yeah,
really nice mats too.
Mats that you lay out and you put everything on top, and nothing moves when you put stuff on there. So that's really good. And that might make it really good for like tournament too, if you have to move the map and pick it up and shimmy it over to a different
It'd be
table.
good for animating.
I like that a lot. Oh yeah, for sure. And then the last stretch goal that was reached was the 200K stretch goal, which is the Muddy Battlefield sticker pack. So for every source set that you get an additional set of stickers to put on blank hexes, and 6 free stackable walls with every copy of TimeStrike. So that is, they had 2 other stretch goals they didn't reach, but I think in terms of what was unlocked is still pretty good, because I think the other goals were 225 and then 250.
Right. And
but
they had,
yeah,
and
they still did really good regardless.
Still release things with those, and they might continue those stretch goals too. So yeah, yeah, that's a part of it.
I was happy about those walls for sure.
The walls are included with every set for every TimeStrike order that was made. So, and I wonder, I'm from the wording, it sounds like that includes like when they go retail as well. So that means like in the future, if you get a copy of TimeStrike, it's going to come with walls because of the reaching that goal. So that's pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Right.
But yeah, that's a stretch goal listing.
Yeah,
That's
and they have a lot more things they're planning on for the future too. Like I said, they're just getting started, you know. And it's funny because they've been working on this stuff for like 5 years. What now? Almost.
Yeah, and you can go on their website, and I mean, they have that slotting. They say Adventure Together is their company, Source is their game system, TimeStrike is one of their games for the Source system.
Yep.
There's a future plan for multiple things. Yeah.
And I mean, like I said,
the website's very clear.
For those of you
about
watching this too, links in the description below for everything that we're talking about too, as well. Eventually, when this comes online. But yeah, no, it's a massive undertaking, and I'm glad it was as successful as it was, and I can't wait to have him on to have him talk about it. Probably next year sometime, and what they plan to be doing with things, but. People should expect their first boxes of Source from this Kickstarter around I think August. I think it's August, September next year. So yeah, that is going
to be a big month for me.
Yeah. yeah.
Oh yeah, my goodness. Yeah, there's going to be lots of things
that's
happening.
ScapeCon, yep.
Gen Con.
So the first Gen Con in 13 years with an official Heroscape presence. Like, not saying I still respect the unofficial Heroscape presence. Y'all killed it every year, but this is gonna be the first year with an official sign, all that stuff. It's gonna be crazy. So
yeah, and we'll talk about Gen Con probably in a minute. We'll talk about a lot about it next year. But when it comes to like Source, and TimeStrike and Adventure Together games, if we got nothing else to say about the campaign, because I guess it's like yay, okay, and they can speak for themselves when we bring them on next time. But I do have something to say that I've had to keep kind of under wraps for a little while, or I've meant to keep under wraps for a little while, that I want to announce, and we'll probably talk about this more when we're able to go live more in the future. But basically, I am in talks with Chris, with the guys from Adventure Together Games, to basically create a series much like I did with Tales of Valhalla, and it's going to be called. I already have a title for it. It's a working title, but I already have a title for it. It's going to be called Tales of the Void, which the Void is where TimeStrike takes place, or the TimeStrike takes place. So.
Nice.
We're still in the pre-planning stages. We're still in talks, but I've already had a meeting with them, and I think it went very well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what budget we can come up with. We'll see what we can possibly bring out for next year. But for me, it's a great opportunity. I mean, this is one of those things to where I've spent the last almost 10 years. Animating and hoping that someday I could have someone just be like, yeah, we want you to do that stuff with our stuff too. Because I've had people ask me before in the past, like, if you could do Warhammer or Warhammer 40K, would you animate it in that way? I'm like, if the company would bring me a check, absolutely.
Because that's expensive. Those are expensive minis.
Not only is it expensive to do that type of stop motion animation, it's expensive to get that stuff exactly. Hand me a check, I am good. So it's great to see that type of offer, and that's not the only thing that happened. Too outside of just Source and Adventure Together Games, which I cannot talk about right now. But there is one other thing when it comes to Adventure Together Games as well. Not only we're going to be developing a series, and it's probably going to be eventually a main series like the seasonal story arcs that we do with Tales of Valhalla. But we're probably going to do also little mini videos. We might start with that. But I will also be working closely on developing the lore into TimeStrike. I'm going to become part of that lore team within Adventure Together Games. And I'm not going in it alone. I have my friend Jeremy, who will be joining me on that as well. Yes. I started Tales of Valhalla basically with Jeremy's help, and asking Jeremy to join up was a no-brainer. And I apologize for the emergency vehicles driving by my door. There's a lot of noise. But so me and Jeremy are still in talks. There's still going to have to be a lot of meetings, a lot of things to sort through. But I've already given like some ideas to Adventure Together games, and it seems like they're excited enough to implement some of it. So it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a ton of work, but I almost think of it this way. If J.R. Tolkien was still alive and was like saying, just sent me an email and said, hey, you know, I see your work and I'm thinking of adding on to, you know, Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. How would you like to come on board and be part of that? Yeah. Absolutely.
No,
I mean, yeah. I'm totally there. I'm totally game. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's going to have to be a lot of work before we can release anything officially, but that also comes into play as well, to where it's a soft launch, because I'm not going to really talk about it too much until beginning of the year. But I also have released just today the Tales of Valhalla Patreon. I've done everything on my budget for the past 10 years, but when it comes to managing this podcast, and as well as doing future things when it comes to not just TimeStrike but Heroscape as well, gonna need some help funding, at least start building up some type of budgets for things, and getting some assistance in that. Now that goes without saying that those of you who do subscribe, who like and comment, those are always needed, and I love it. If that's all you can do, that is awesome. That's amazing. I never want to lose that. But for those of you who can, we do have a Patreon. You can even join for free on Patreon if you just want to see some of the free stuff. But there will be behind the scenes stuff that's additional to not what we're currently doing, but that's an additional perk to joining Patreon. So check out the Patreon, like I said, description and link below for that. Finally got around to doing that because I've been thinking about it for a few years. Now finally did it. But so that's just some of the exciting things that have been happening in the past few months. I am just absolutely thrilled about this, and it's something that we'll probably talk, and I'll write more probably in the Patreon about it in the future, because there just been some insights in the past few years that have happened to me personally that and all this just come to a head. It's quite incredible. So yeah,
that's amazing. I think you and Adventure Together is a good union of concepts and passion. So I'm looking forward to seeing content from that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Like I said, I just realized there's so much work, and I was thinking, I needed a break, and nope.
Just when I got out, they dragged me back in.
And
yep.
I think also some people might think, okay, well, doesn't this make you then a Source fanboy? You know, what about Heroscape? You know, are you just totally going to reject Heroscape? Absolutely not. Like I said, this is still like a Heroscape themed podcast. Now, when it comes to creating animated content for Tales of Valhalla, we're still keeping the ToV acronym for Tales of the Void. So technically,
oh yeah,
yeah. So I don't mind releasing the animated content and have that just be its own playlist on there, or even doing something if we want to do other things when it comes to Source and TimeStrike as they start developing themselves in the years to come, Adventure Together games, then we might do that. But I'm not drifting away from Heroscape. I mean, I was still planning to take a few years break, so now my break is going to consist of developing my skills as an animator, as a producer, to make Tales of Valhalla seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however further we go, that much better, that much more well written, and that much more just great for you guys. So yeah, that I am just and part of me just I can't wait to get to work. I really can't. It's I keep on bugging. This is one thing, and when people tell me, contact me anytime, or we're gonna start doing this, I can be on someone's tail 24/7. I can be so annoying, and I try to make it to where it's okay, I make myself this much annoying because if they're still working with me, then I know they're on my side. So yeah, that's that's kind of how I do things, and most of the time I do that with people. They keep to the word. And they're pretty good about it. So, but yeah, can't wait to show some of the things that we're planning, and I can't wait to tell you, Jeremy, when we're having meetings with them, what we have in mind when it comes to the lore and stuff. So, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but anything else?
2024 is going to be crazy.
Oh my goodness, 2024 and beyond.
Huge.
And beyond.
And beyond.
But before we wrap, anything else about Source Adventure Together games that we want to talk about before we wrap that? And I forgot to do this. I have, let's see here. I'm gonna turn Heroscape off. I know you guys can't see this right now, but I should have put that TimeStrike thing up. I have like banners that I can post when we're talking about different subjects, and I keep on forgetting to do it. So if you're watching this recording and we're talking about Source TimeStrike the whole time, maybe I'll actually just paste TimeStrike since I can edit this over it. But basically, a whole conversation. I should have had that TimeStrike thing on, which is on right now instead of Heroscape, just so we know what we're talking about. But of course, I forget. I never said I was a good podcaster. I just say I am a podcaster, okay?
You get the job done, and that's half the battle.
Exactly. Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, or trying.
Turning on the broadcast is half the battle.
Or doing as best as you can, because do or do not, there is no try.
We will quote all the characters.
All right. Well, and okay. This is probably turn into another 2-hour podcast. We still got to figure out how to get under 2 hours. We'll try. But anything else you guys want to say about it before we close that segment?
I think we're good to go there.
Lots to look forward to in that for sure. All right, so we are gonna then wrap up with our show. Just gonna run through some comments because we have a few, and let me see if hold on a second. We don't need to read all of them. Let me just see what will be. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Okay. All right. Some of these are about all right. Here first, okay, we're gonna do some comments from the last stream, and here, let me open this up real quick. All right. So, Wayne from the stream on YouTube commented saying that talking about blue wormlings, because it was one of the things we talked about last time. So the blue wormlings can kill or wound defense 2 or lower figures with its fledgling lightning breath. True, he's the quote-unquote blunt instrument of a wormling army with his flying attack 4, which can often become an attack 5 with height. They're meant to be change up, so at least 2 in your army could help you pummel key heroes in the dirt. Yeah, I think some people are just like, hey, I know you're all saying that blue wormling isn't that great, but I think they're great, which is fine.
No, and I could see its use. I mean, they're not designed poorly. That's the thing. When we were discussing it, it's like in terms of if we were trying to draft an army, we wanted to do wormling army, and maybe this is probably in part of like following point conventions of like, with ScapeCon, they have really, really tight point conventions. You have to think of the best point combo plus the best, what will get you to win that match. Black and red will help you a lot in tournament settings, but if you were like in terms of like casual play, and then probably even if you want to try fielding the blue wormlings in a tournament setting, I would love to see it, because it would be like a really cool win to see.
That's what we said too.
It's just knowing if we're talking about optimization, black and red. I want to see blue do a good job. I promise. I just, in terms of if you're trying to go for the best bang for your buck in terms of your Heroscape points, black and red. That's why we had that whole thing. We're not saying blue is bad. We're saying blue has its uses in other settings, I think.
Yes, and there's also, he also says something else here. It says also in Wormlings versus Frostcaw Paladins battles, the FC Paladins or Frostcaw Paladins are immune to red and black Wormling specials, whereas a blue Wormling could conceivably one-shot a 2-life Frostcaw Paladin squad figure with its normal attack. So there's that. So maybe for future,
that's
like
really
stuff,
I guess
if there's
probably,
Frostcaw Paladins in the future, then there you go.
Taking that into consideration, I think Blue Wormling might do better if it was a draft format.
Right.
So like if you did I pick one, you pick one, I pick one, you pick one. If you did something like that, and you noticed, hey, your opponent seems to be picking a certain type of character that you could one shot with Blue Wormlings, then that would be a really good option to pick. But I think in pre-made armies, red black. I'm just gonna, yeah. Because like when you need something that will be the most effective to a blind army that you have no idea what you're fighting against, you know, that would work if you knew that your opponent drafted the Frostclaw. You're like, oh shoot, they got the Frostclaw. I'm gonna get some Blue Wormlings to defend against them. Great option. But most of the time, I guarantee you're going to be facing a lot of Morrow Stingers in a tournament setting. Therefore, you're going to want red.
Right.
You know, that's what. Yeah, I'm not dissing on Blue Wormling, saying it's worse. It's more. It was. I think we were just talking about our experience from ScapeCon and how it worked there, and yeah, and the fact I lost to black and red, I might have a little bit of PTSD from that. I don't know, but they were good. You know, they did their job. And that's what I remember the most. So, yeah, maybe I should play some more Wormling armlings. Start just throwing them all together and see what happens. Maybe if I had more practice with them, I would be a 4-color friend, you know.
Be the Wormling avatar.
The Wormling avatar. the advocates.
Right.
But no, that's actually a really good point. I do like the thought process of it has its uses where, you know, in a certain draft settings. That's really cool that's a thing. I didn't even think about that, you know. Prepping for that two defense armies and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you never know when you might need them.
Right. For sure.
Let me see. I'm gonna let me go through. Okay, Garen X. I don't know who that person is. Said during my my little Renegade video when I went live when Renegade first announced, just after Renegade announced, you know, the March 1st live convention. Garen X says, a crazy announcement on the pre-painted. Hopefully this will keep it attractive to parents to play with their kids without pricing it out of most people's range. Yeah, hopefully there's that balance, for sure. And then we have Wolfframe. I don't think Wolfframe has commented before, so I wanted to include it. And it's talking about the Renegade announcement. Awesome. I wonder what the first wave looks like, and we did ponder on that tonight. I hope they have new terrain types, new rules, etc. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And then Joe Crazy, since he's not here, says, I got to work on my birthday, meaning that March 1st, I believe, is his birthday. And like, yes, Joe, you're going to have to. Yeah,
it's the best birthday.
Pre-order Heroscape for your birthday. You get the pre-order Heroscape for your birthday. Like, come on, that's amazing.
That's a perk.
I'd be all over that.
That's a perk.
A perk, yeah.
That's a perk. Anyway, all right. So I guess we can then wrap things up tonight. Give our final thoughts and close out. Well, not the stream, but just the podcast itself. My goodness, and I think my wife is actually commenting me. This might be an internet issue for me actually. I know I checked the status, but apparently it's dipping in and out because she's having connection problems, which is interesting because have you guys been able to hear me the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear.
I'm gonna have to troubleshoot. I'm gonna troubleshoot and see exactly what's going on then. But yeah, again, sorry for anybody who's watching like this pre-recorded thing on YouTube or something. Whenever I can post it, hopefully I can get it up tomorrow. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things that happens, and we'll get this out to you as soon as possible. But how about we wrap things up? Again, final thoughts, plugs. Jeremy, go ahead first, sir.
All right. Yeah, I'm just huge hype for 2024 in general. Yeah, we still have what 3 more weeks left of this year, so nice time to reflect on what to look forward to come the turn of the calendar, and being able to talk about both Adventures Together's success and the Heroscape pre-order. Right, I mean that's going to be very big highlights for those two companies in the next year. So I'm just really excited to be able to be involved and to be able to learn more about it. Help support both of these companies in their ventures and their development processes, and seeing both of them take the time out to connect with their communities, connect with the audience, bring out, because that's why I keep bringing it up, the pre-painted thing. It's like, I know for a fact that pre-painted decision was entirely predicated on the matter of wanting to address one of the issues that the community had with Age of Annihilation last year. That's huge. That is a really big show of confidence, and especially for me, in Renegade, knowing that that's something that they want to do for us because they care about the product. And we know that it's even Scott brought it up, right? Like, he's very aware that Heroscapers, we're skeptic, very skeptic, and we have all reason to be, right? Because we had when Wizards of the Coast took over and they made the decisions that they made, and then they discontinued it, and then we had Arena of the Planeswalkers, and then this crowd. I mean, it's just this brand has been through a lot of problems. It's just like, if you just take Heroscape in 1 minute, like someone should do a video that's like just Heroscape in 1 minute and just broadcast everything that happened, and people are going to be like, what? Like, it's gone through a lot, and so as a result, its fan base has also gone through a lot, and a lot of us are very, like, it's hard to be trusting. It's hard to be like excited, because we probably feel like it's just going to be another flop, because of all the flops we've had in the past. But because they made this decision with pre-painted, at least for me, I think they are thinking very forward. And they even said they have plans till 2026, which is nuts. Like, they got 3 years of Heroscape already talked about in some form or capacity. Hello? Like, that's amazing. Like, that's really, really cool. So excited for that. And additionally, Adventure Together, I mean, it takes all of 10 minutes, even less, to scroll through their Kickstarter offering and see just how much love and craft they put into it. And they plan, and that's the first of many plans that they have for the product. And with Ryan's announcement, me getting involved in some capacity, I'm excited, because I'm obsessed with lore. And that's a thing I do as a passion and as a profession, right? Knowing that is something. Thanks to a couple companies out there, I've learned that you can actually get that as a job. It being a lore guy, and I was like, whoa, I'll do it. So if that's something that they want to get me on for, I'm going to do everything I can to achieve what they're looking for out of me, and hopefully be able to help promote and make the product even better in the future. Who knows? Right. I don't know what that would be, but I will definitely work my best and hardest to do so. I got you. So yeah, just really excited for 2024, and that's my big vibe from this podcast episode. This is the the pinnacle of hope. I don't know, I'm just trying to make it sound real cool. Make that sound real cool. But like, yeah, we are looking at a very good for both the 20th anniversary of Heroscape and the 10th anniversary of Renegade and the first anniversary of Source. There you go. So everything happens for good days. We got auspicious years in the future. So
the precipice of verisimilitude.
Yeah. And I guess my final words, kind of just throwing my stuff out there. I finished the commission. The thing that has kept me, I took myself offline for a month about, and I wasn't hiding or anything, I promise. I was paid to construct a backstory for a VTuber, for those that know who those VTubing is, or the VTubing concept. And so that story is going to end up coming out in the near future. She was very happy, which was really good to hear. She actually thought I did more work than I was paid for, which was kind of funny. But I just like this stuff, that's my thing. It's like, I will do hours of research for fun, like, and not even think about it, not even process it as a labor cost, because I enjoy that kind of stuff. And so, I submitted the work to her this week, and she plans on doing a whole video on it. And it's going to be going to present the whole thing. So feel free to stop by there if you want to check out some of my personal stuff, the stuff I did for her channel. It's going to be pretty cool. And I'm not allowed to say anything else. She was very clear. She wanted to keep it for her stream. She did say I could mention who I wrote it for and stuff like that, but it is a pretty exciting endeavor, and that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know. We don't have a planned date for that yet, but eventually that's going to come out.
And who's the VTuber?
Yeah, the VTuber, her name is Inari Reiju. She's a Kitsune VTuber. So I basically have constructed the backstory for that character, and that will be presented at a future date. So I will be announcing that on my channels and stuff like that, and kind of if you want to check out some of the crazy research that I do, you can find out there. Because I'm telling you, just to kind of give you a hint, I went to the library. I was in the library. I was checking out books. I was downloading research articles. I was getting into as much of the material as I could. I was immersing myself as much as into the material as I could, and that's kind of why I was silent for the past couple weeks. Nothing on my channel, nothing on Twitch or YouTube, but it wasn't me staying away from the content, just kind of refocusing my efforts on just that one thing for the past couple weeks. And I think I want to say that it did pay off very well. It was worth it. So I'm excited to show that when that happens. Other than that, I'm going to start going back live. Got some stuff to cover. Of course, Destiny 2's new season just dropped, and everyone's asking me lore about that, so I got to cover that. Final Fantasy 14 stuff's going to be updated next month, so going to be covering that. Yeah, my usual stuff, my stomping grounds as they are, all the little worlds that I like to visit in the meantime while we wait for Heroscape. We're going to be doing some of that stuff, so feel free to check out my stuff, the S1 Collate on Twitter, X, or Twitch, YouTube, and the usual stomping places. So with that, I yield my time.
All right. Jason, go ahead.
All right. Well, I want to start by saying you remind me of something very important tonight, Ryan, and that's I totally forgot to put Ruby Gem Sparkle's miniature up on one of the shelves back here. It was on the list, and I completely forgot to do it. So I'm going to dig her out of the box in the basement and put her up here sometime soon.
For the next
podcast. Main topic, yeah, for the next one, I'll try to remember.
Do that.
But on the main topic, of course, excited to see Heroscape coming back here next March, and at least the pre-orders are next March, and we'll see what goes on from there, and possibly we'll see how close my crazy off-the-wall prediction is correct. And on the topic of anniversaries, since we mentioned it once earlier, it'll also be the 40th anniversary of BattleTech. So you've got a lot of big anniversaries next year. And one more thing on the topic of Heroscape then, I'm over at tabletopbattlefield.com and Rocco Robotics on YouTube, where our next video is going to be diving in a little bit deeper, talking about some of the markets with the pre-painted miniatures, and a little bit more opinions and a little bit different than what I offered here today. So if you want to see more information about that, you can head over to my YouTube channel. That should be up sometime soon. I'll probably record it tomorrow night.
Awesome.
And that's about all I got for you, Ryan.
All right. Thank you, Jason. All right. Go ahead, Josiah.
Well, I am Josiah, more informally or formally known as the Heroscaper. I haunt the interwebs, making people appreciate painting. I just love painting. I love figures. I love games. You can check out my YouTube channel. I've kind of moved everything there. I did just open up an Etsy shop, so if you're looking for some niche, some Heroscape stuff, you can check that out as well. And yeah, I've been in a bit of a writer's block, so to speak, lately, just between holidays and kind of sickness. So I've been kind of a ghost online, but I'm excited to get back going, and excited to keep on painting and keep on playing Heroscape. Next year's going to be big, and I'm just excited for everything that's lining up, and it's going to be a really good year, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and now everybody's been sick. It's just it's been a crazy last couple months. Sweeping
around.
Yeah, it has been. So, but yeah,
bump up that vitamin C intake.
Everything. Precautions. But yeah, thank you, Josiah, and please be well. Everybody, I know Jason was sick a while ago. I know other people have been sick.
Does that mean it's my turn? It's just going
through
the podcast members. Oh, no.
But anyway, to wrap this up, I am Ryan, Tales of Valhalla, and I guess I would say that yes, like I'm usually streaming live on Sundays and Wednesdays usually, and have primarily a stop motion adventure based off the board game Heroscape, 3 seasons worth, plus like extra fun content and behind the scenes content, as well as the ToV podcast. And as I've announced tonight, going to be expanding that to even more things in the future, and I really look forward to getting back into the animating chair. It's going to be a lot of fun. But as far as like Gen Con next year, I do want to say that most likely, I mean, I'm not going to confirm this yet, but most likely Gen Con and ScapeCon, I'm going to be there. I'm going to find a way. There are already things happening behind the scenes.
They're very close to each other.
Yeah, they're very close to each other, and I'm very close to there. So it's not too far to get to Indianapolis. So it's there are lots of things to plan, but I almost guarantee you that gonna be there next year. So I cannot wait. I literally, like, I'm at home and I'm not doing too much right now, but part of me, I'm literally just want to fly out the door and just be like, I'm just go and do stuff.
Check out your local game store if you got one.
Yeah. No, I don't, but very rural area.
Dang.
But hey, that's what the internet's for.
I got you.
But, and again, this coming Wednesday, if you're gonna be watching this coming Wednesday, actually, I'm not even talking about that. I stream it, like I said. I stream it, and usually I'm starting to do like more skirmishes, like just live Heroscape gameplay where I'm figuring out how to play the game, which is fun. Also, I paint sometimes, also do unboxings sometimes. Thanks to Sir Roguescaper here, he's been sending me some wonderful things, including this masterpiece here. I'm just gonna pass it. Let me just look at this. See, this is NGC's version of Zed Nesbitt and his wonderful original.
It was really cool concept. I remember when they dropped
the painting is just awesome. Just awesome painting there. Just saying, it's just amazing. What were you saying? What were you saying, Jeremy? You were saying something.
No, I remember when they dropped that, because I think that announcement launched right around ScapeCon, and then it was that was stunning. Like, it was very stunning miniature that you managed to like. I say that it's like there was a lot of talk about how being able to replicate the Zed Nesbitt was going to be impossible. Like, it was just the idea of it alone was like, oh my gosh, how the heck are we gonna get a blimp mini? And y'all achieved that.
I'll play it.
Good stuff.
I'll play it. I'll print up a stat card and I'll probably play it sometime in December with some miniatures. So that's gonna be fun.
I'll just say that there was to develop that mini there was probably about 4 or 5 broken blimps. There's a graveyard of blimps I walked through.
Hey, send me a few and I can like animate something where the blimp just explodes in air or crashes to the ground.
I can't even send them. They're kind of they're not safe to be sent. That's why we nicked some of them. Some of them are just holding too much resin in, and I was like,
Okay, I see. But like I say, I can always take advantage of anything damaged usually, as long as it's not radioactive, so.
Right.
But anyway, no. But what I want to primarily promote though is, of course, the Patreon. Again, I mean, I won't officially do official announcement for it until like beginning of the year, but it is up. If anybody wants to check it out. And for December 17th, we will be live for the last ToV podcast live stream of 2023, and we're going to be doing a memes to midnight, because we had fun doing a meme review type thing last year, and that was near the end. That was at the end of the HasLab campaign. Now we're just going to have fun this year because we know we got Heroscape coming. We'll do memes to midnight. I have about like almost 100 memes that I'm going to have to sort through and see what are the best ones to go through, because we're probably not going to do 100 in that amount of time. Maybe, but we have a lot of memes to go through, so that's going to be fun. Going to try to get a bunch of people on board that have been on the stream before, maybe some new guests. We'll see, but it's going to be a ton of fun. So stay tuned and look forward to seeing you all there, hopefully live I think I had an internet issue, so hopefully I'll get that fixed. But with that, thank you all for watching. Again, always appreciate any support you can give. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we'll see you guys next time.